In this video, we'll be taking a trip back in time billions of years to explore the formation of all 8 planets in our solar system. From the pale blue dot we occupy in the inner solar system to the colossal gas giants further out past the asteroid belt. You don't want to miss any of them. We'll be exploring mighty impacts that left planets broken for eons, the fiery landscapes that exist today and the ones that existed billions of years ago, and on top of all of that, how it could all be destroyed one day. And it all starts with the first. Mercury is the first planet from our sun, and its formation is very straightforward. Billions of years ago, after the solar nebula began to collapse, an incomprehensible amount of gas and dust started to collapse in on each other due to the force of gravity. And over hundreds of millions, if not billions of years, it ended up clumping together into what we now know as Mercury. Now, Mercury used to have an atmosphere, but due to its extreme proximity to our sun, the sun quickly washed away that atmosphere with its solar wind. When the sun reaches the end of its life and eventually expands into a red giant, it will swallow up Mercury with it. But now let's move on to the second planet from our sun and Earth's twin sister, Venus. This beautiful planet was formed similar to Mercury when the force of gravity caused leftover gas and rock from the solar nebula to clump together to form a planet. Now, Venus looks so beautiful due to its extraordinarily thick atmosphere, and it most likely got that atmosphere from the sun brightening as it aged. It melted away what could have been any oceans on Venus's surface. All of this excess water vapor would have triggered a runaway greenhouse effect, which would have warmed the planet extremely. This runaway greenhouse effect causes it to have this beautiful look from space and its incredibly thick atmosphere. It also causes Venus's surface to look like it has a permanent yellow tint. This picture here is one of the only pictures we have of Venus's surface and shows just how dangerous and barren it is. But let's move to something much more friendly and much more inviting. What you're looking at right now is Earth. I'm serious. If you look closely, this one pixel on your screen, this one pale blue dot holds everything you have known, will know, and know now. This image was taken in 1990 by NASA's Voyager 1 at a distance of about 3.7 billion miles. Now, Earth was formed very similar to the planets before it. It formed with the force of gravity, collecting things together, but Earth has something unique going for it. Since Earth was in the habitable zone of its star, our sun, it eventually developed the key building blocks for life that Earth could hold in its safe developing atmosphere to eventually develop you and me. In about 5 billion years, the Earth will eventually be swallowed up by the gigantic, expanding, dying sun. But that's nothing to worry about if we can eventually colonize this next planet. This is Mars, the little red dot right next to us, and the next big step in human space exploration. Mars was formed about 1 billion years before Earth, and in a very similar way. They were both extraordinarily volcanic in their early days, but Mars cooled down up to 100 million years before Earth and could have had an early start on life. The habitable zone for our star at this point covered Venus, Earth, and Mars. But Venus, as we've covered before, lost its oceans very quickly. But Mars has evidence of rivers, lakes, and oceans all throughout its surface. It could even have water underneath its surface right now, and we can't see it. But Mars was formed when ancient inner solar system material clumped together to form this red ball. And in 2026, SpaceX has said that they might launch their first unmanned mission to Mars to start the foundations for a future human mission in 2028. That's pretty exciting, but I think it's time to move past the asteroid belt into the true titans of our solar system. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system by a long shot. You could fit over 1,000 Earths inside of the sphere that is Jupiter. Now, the reason why Jupiter is so big is because it's made up of the leftover substances that make up the majority of the sun. So Jupiter is a gas giant, meaning it's majority gas. And the two most prevalent gases are hydrogen and helium, same with the sun. Now, very similar to the other planets in our solar system, gravity is the reason why these gases were able to spin around each other and eventually collect into a big ball. Some people say that Jupiter is the most beautiful planet in the solar system, but I think our next planet brings some healthy competition. The sixth planet from our sun is called Saturn, and with its rings made up of tiny ice particles, this planet is most people's favorite. It's honestly gorgeous. This planet was made very similar to Jupiter, with gravity causing a majority hydrogen and helium to swirl around each other and eventually collect into a big ball. The most likely way that Saturn's rings formed is by an icy body or maybe a moon got too close to the planet and then just got ripped apart by the gravity of Saturn. And these rings are projected to go away as soon as 100 million years from now, which is not a very long time if you consider the entire universe. It's time to move on to the last two planets of our solar system, and arguably the most interesting. Uranus is the seventh planet from our sun and the first of the two ice giants in the outer reaches of our solar system. The reason why it's called an ice giant is because it's made up of 80% icy materials, such as water, methane, and ammonia. It's actually the methane gas that gives Uranus its light blue color. As light passes through its atmosphere, most of it gets reflected off the top layer of clouds, and then the methane gas absorbs the red portion of the light, giving Uranus its blue-green color. It's very similar to its neighbor Neptune. Neptune has almost the same amount of methane in its atmosphere as Uranus, except it has a little bit more, giving it a slightly darker blue color. Now, both Uranus and Neptune are thought by scientists to have formed over 4 billion years ago, much closer to the sun than they are now, and then slowly drifted out to the outer reaches of our solar system over time. That has been the formation of all 8 planets in our solar system. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe. I have multiple videos coming out that I think you guys are going to love. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.